I remember the very first personal development encounter that I had at a live event. Well, it wasn't live, it was recorded, and I was watching it on PBS. And I remember looking at the speaker, and I was captivated by not only his energy and his voice, his charisma, but the message was penetrating. It stuck with me. And not long after having that experience, I eventually found my way into that particular speaker's orbit and made myself as indispensable as I possibly could. And I can remember vividly going to pick up food, ironing his shirts before events. Eventually, I started packing boxes with his products and his trainings, working his sales tables at the end of an event. I remember eventually getting to be able to go on the road with him and working my way up, so to speak, and getting 4 or 5 minutes on the microphone to speak and have a powerful message in that time. And then I would get 10 minutes and then 15. And he really developed and cultivated my foundation as a speaker, but more importantly, helped me to understand the power of personal development. And throughout the course of those years, I began attending personal development events like clockwork every quarter, minimum every quarter. So at least 4 times a year, if not more. And then I began to hire coaches, people who specifically were there to keep me accountable, to help me see any blind spots, and to really elevate my effort and my performance, my production, my results. And it really dramatically changed how I processed things, how I looked at things, and how I built my own business. And organically, people began asking me if I would be willing to coach them one on one. And I've coached a lot of people one on one. I've coached a lot of people in group settings, 50 people, 100 people, 300 people was the biggest group. And, there are pros and cons to all of it. And for me personally, I find the one on one experience the most um, dynamic because it's personal. It's the connection is very, very specific. And I understand it's not what you'll hear promoted, because everything is about scale and size and how much money you can make, and that's never been a driver for me. What's been a driver for me is impact. And in my experience, when you create impact, the income will come with that. And I've just had an incredible time working with each of you in 2025. And then I'm excited to continue that work in 2026. Having that starting point and then having these measurable improvements, things that we can look back and connect the dots and we can see the growth, we can see the progress, we can see the transformation. It's been really special. And I take that, it's a very sacred act. The act of coaching, the act of not just encouraging, but being strategic, creating that structure of accountability, having clear and concise communication. It's a really special bond that I have with the clients that I'm privileged to coach. So I wanted to send you this quick message and just say it's been an incredible year. I'm very excited of what we're all going to do together in 2026. And if I'm working with you individually, or if you're in a bigger group that I'm coaching, it's all love. Okay. Um, I love the groups. I just wanted to say, like, the one-on-one is a little bit different, a little more intimate, and there's the spiritual connection of that can be greater sometimes. But that being said, I want you to ask yourself a couple of questions as we move into the first quarter of 2026. Number one, what are the distractors that I fell victim to in 2025? What are the distractors that I fell victim to in 2025? Did I have any habits of uh, getting comfortable? Did I fall into the trap of making excuses at some point? Did I take more time off than was warranted? Did I fall into any habits of procrastination? Did I fall into any habits of getting sucked into being more of a consumer instead of being more of a producer? And so when I add up, Ed, all of my scroll time and watching stories online and prank videos and Netflix and chill, when I add all of that up, if I'm honest with myself, I could have been a little more disciplined and allocated some of that time towards being more of a producer, sitting down and taking time to work on my strategy for the next quarter, to work on my plan of action for the upcoming week. I could have been a little more disciplined with my time, Ed. Yes, I discovered some time leaks. So ask yourself that question. What are the distractors that I fell victim to? Maybe you got distracted by an emotional dynamic. It could be some things in your family, could be some things in your relationship, could be some things in your job place where there's a dynamic that is draining emotionally, that is taking your energy, time, and focus and bandwidth because you're in your emotions, you're in your feelings. And so take this time to really be honest with yourself so you can identify those things that perhaps had taken you off course. Okay. The next thing I want you to look at is, what am I willing to give up in 2026 that I wasn't willing to give up in 2025? Is it getting up earlier in the morning so that you can get in that 30 minutes of exercise? Is it setting aside that 30 minutes throughout the course of a day so that you are reading every single day? Reading, just studying and reading to get better in whatever you're getting better in. Is it giving up in some form of entertainment? So maybe you have a habit of always tuning into something, or always watching a sporting event, or always going to happy hour. Perhaps that's something you need to look at. And hey, I'm going to give this thing up until I hit this first significant goal for the first quarter of 2026. So it's a difficult conversation. It's uncomfortable. It's not fun. If you're wanting to get results, if you're wanting to be different in 2026, you're going to have to behave different. Success is about behavior. You behave your way to success. You don't wish your way to success. You don't do New Year's resolutions your way to success. You have to behave your way to success. And the way to do that effectively is to first recognize, where are the holes in my game from 2025 so that I can work on these in 2026. If you look at any athlete, there are aspects of their game that they will work on and develop each new season. So last season, I did pretty good because my forehand was really strong. So it was one of my best shots, and my serve. Like those things really got me out of trouble a lot of times. But my backhand is a little shaky, and my return to serve, I got to work on that. So now in 2026, I'm going to really focus on working on my backhand and my return to serve, because my forehand is really strong, my serve is really solid. And I'm going to add those two things and really sharpen those things to my game. It's the same thing with you. There are aspects of your life and your journey where you know you could do better, where you know you fell victim to a distractor, where you know that you missed some opportunities to hold yourself accountable, and looking at how you're going to make decisions to give certain things up in order to go up. You got to give up to go up, right? So that's what I wanted to give you, just a couple of those nuggets. I know that we've done a lot of detailed, and we've already talked about a lot of these things as we have wrapped up our final coaching sessions for 2025. But I wanted to give you this and just say, hey, we appreciate you. We love working with you. This is my Happy New Year message. But of course, I had to give you some game to go with it. I didn't want to just get on here and say Happy New Year. Thanks for being in our our client family, but I did want to give you some game as well because it's an opportunity for us to get better. And any opportunity that we have to level up, we got to take it. And because of that first initiation, that first step that I took as a result of a PBS special by the one and only Mr. Les Brown, and then having and allowing that to impact me and making a commitment to constant, never ending improvement for the rest of my life, it's changed my life forever. And I look forward to all of the things that you're going to bring to the table in 2026. Look forward to seeing you on our next coaching session.